Well, there's new buzz tonight about a shining star on the Republican Party's horizon. Texas Congressman Ron Paul won 31% of the vote in a presidential straw poll at this weekend's Conservative Political Action Conference. So, is Paul the new poster child for the party? Well, Ron Paul supporter Rachel Kania joins me in our studio today. She works for Young Americans for Liberty. Hi there. So you heard the intro. He won the straw poll largely because of young conservatives, young libertarians like yourself. So are we sort of seeing this trend of movement toward supporting Ron Paul?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. The ideas of limited government are very popular. The students, especially young people, are really excited about it because, for once, their voice is being heard because they know that they're going to take on this debt. And it's just really exciting. It was a really exciting weekend to see all the people come out from across the country out to CPAC. So it was a great win for us. I feel like it's a very a symbolic win, and it's very motivational for the movement.
You just mentioned debt. Is that the issue for you guys when it comes to throwing your support over to Libertarians and Ron Paul?
Well, the straw poll indicated that the #1 issue for people who voted, which was mostly young people, is to cut federal spending. So when you cut federal spending, you're cutting taxes, you're cutting big government. So they just overall want to eliminate the size of government.
You know, it's interesting because there was actually booing in the audience initially when the results came out. So is this sort of an indication that not everybody's on board, even those from Congressman Ron Paul's own party?
Definitely. I think a lot of the boos were from Mitt Romney supporters because he has won the past 2 years, I believe. So they expected him to win, but they just didn't know how much support Ron Paul actually does have.
I think he won, the last 3 years, and some say, hey, that's not really an indication because he was not the presidential candidate in 2008. You know, you work for Young Americans for Liberty. So what are you guys doing to ensure that this momentum keeps going, that Dr. Paul can really hold on to it?
Oh, we're just educating students, providing activism grants to them so they can hold national activism events on their campus. Basically just bring awareness to the ideas. I feel like the ideas are not extremely, heard, especially on the college campus. So that's our mission, basically, to get the ideas out, because it's mostly about the ideas of freedom, of liberty, of true freedom.
Do you expect the congressman to run in 2012?
I do. There's some rumors about it. I think maybe he will. I don't think he'll announce it anytime soon, and he's definitely going to keep people hoping. But I would love if he ran in 2012. I think he has a decent chance. The ideas need to be heard.
Now, you mentioned some of the issues that are important to you guys on the domestic front, like debt and federal spending. What about foreign policy? Congressman Ron Paul has had a consistent sort of anti-war view, has had a consistent view about U.S. involvement in other parts of the world. How do you guys feel about that?
Oh, we are completely in support of it. It's non-interventionist policy. That's what separates us from most of the people that were at CPAC this weekend. They're very pro-war, and this is pretty much why they booed us, I think, initially. This is what sets us apart. But yeah, he advocates a foreign policy of peace and diplomacy, and I think it's the right way to go.
So with that rift, like you mentioned, is there any way that the Republican Party then can come together? Because, you have this non-interventionist policy, whereas in most of the Republican Party, it's the opposite. So how do you sort of build that bridge or bridge that gap, I should say, between the two?
I think Ron Paul's doing a good job of it. I think for a long time people have looked at him and marginalized him and made him look like an idiot, but he really has been consistent. His voting record is consistent, and he is introducing these ideas. I think this weekend when he spoke, he actually even talked about how we need to come together. He emphasized that, and he wasn't trying to make it them against us kind of thing, because we need the entire Republican Party to come together in order for us to succeed.
We see young congressional candidates like Adam Kokesh also saying, look, he was consistent with his views, but there's sort of this not a disconnect, but a sort of difference between, hey, these are the ideas, and here's our guy, Congressman Ron Paul. So as a young libertarian, are you sort of more attached to the ideas behind it or more attached to the man?
Definitely the ideas, definitely. I would love to support any other candidate who held the ideas, but Ron Paul, I love him. I have a special place in my heart for him because he is what brought me into the movement. I think he has a way of bringing in the young people because he is such a kind person.
So do you still consider yourself a Republican then? Because that can sort of misconstrue some of your ideas, right? If someone asks, hey, what political party are you affiliated with, and you say Republican, they might think, okay, here is your stance on this,
They get
this,
confused,
and this.
yeah. They get very confused when I have to explain to them that the founding fathers of this country were actually a libertarian leaning in their ideology, and that's what a true traditional conservative is. Our traditional conservatives were against the war, and this is something completely unfamiliar to people today, but I talk to them all the time about it. I am a Republican. I vote Republican. I've actually only voted once, and that was for Ron Paul, so I am a Republican, but I am also a libertarian.
Rachel Caney, it's always nice to speak to a young person, the sort of next generation of political activism. Thank you.
Thank you.